One of my neighbors was kidnapped yesterday. Sometimes I speak in metaphor. This isn't that. A local father and husband who lives very close to me was stolen from his family and our community. If it's too much to listen to the rest of this, I understand. Just know this is also a fundraising request for his family. Link in description. His wife of 20 years, who's never spent a day away from him, is sobbing as she makes food and tends their children, wakes up alone, makes coffee without him. I know because as I'm writing this, I'm sitting in her kitchen listening to her. This man was here completely legally, specifically under temporary protected status. It happened like this. His nephew was pulled over for driving 8 miles an hour over the speed limit in a 55 zone, which is to say he was pulled over for driving while brown in Maine. He was on a valid out-of-state license and didn't know that he had to transfer his license within 30 days, which was over. If he'd been white, he wouldn't have been pulled over for doing 63 in a 55, and they would have just told him to go on his way and update his license when he got a chance, but he's Latino. So they gave him a $450 ticket and told him he had to find someone else to drive the car home. He called his uncle, who happily came out, displayed his legal Maine license to the cops. Purely because he speaks Spanish. The cops demanded his papers. They took pictures of everyone on their personal phones, informed dispatch, and dispatch called Border Patrol, who came and kidnapped both the uncle and the guy who was driving's wife. They released the guy who was driving's wife alone at 1 a.m. in the middle of the woods, 2.5 hours north of her home and family. This is a beautiful young woman in her early 20s who speaks no English, thrown into the North Woods alone at night with no idea where she is. They kept the uncle. ICE refused to tell anyone where he was, denied he was in custody for hours, and his son was calling repeatedly and asking, and they said, nope, nobody here. Finally, he was able to call his family, tell him he'd been in custody all along. Now, his family is terrified to go outside and terrified to be at home. This is a legal resident of the U.S. here with proper documentation, kidnapped by a secret police force and taken to an undisclosed location. His family is left without their beloved husband, father, and uncle, and without their primary breadwinner. I wish you could see his wife sobbing and screaming, talking about how in 20 years they've never spent a day apart, how she can't eat because of how horrifying the not knowing is, not knowing where he is, what's being done to him, what their family will do if he's kept in some black site forever, deported to a labor camp in some country he's never been to, how she's terrified to speak about it at all publicly because she fears blowback against her children and family. This is happening to my neighbors in a town of 1,200 people in rural Maine, and most of my neighbors have no idea because the family is too terrified to talk about it. This is happening to your neighbors. People are being disappeared. Families of legal immigrants are being torn apart as we speak. The level of grief and anger that I'm navigating is pretty high. I feel physically sick to my stomach with it. I feel an itch towards action, increasing every day like a constant physical pull. I work hard to balance that with the knowledge that my programming as a white guy makes me one of the worst people to decide tactics and strategies. I have the most internalized glorification of violence and heroics, and I'm at the least risk of suffering blowback.
A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching this from. This is Awakened Africa, and I'm your host, Bam. Welcome to another episode of our YouTube channel. And today, I'd like us to talk about something that I think has really caught my attention, and I can say that this is karma. And you know, karma is always served at its very best. So, a white man came out talking about an issue that happened to his neighbors, to his Latino neighbors in rural Maine. So this white man was talking about a certain story of a Latino man whose nephew was pulled over, and when he was asked to call for help for someone to call for help for someone who will come and drive the car for him, he called his uncle. And when the uncle came, he was asked to produce his papers, and when he hesitated, even though he was legally living in Maine as a registered immigrant or as a documented immigrant, these traffic officers decided to call Border Patrol and ICE officers, and he was arrested. And then he was taken to an unknown place. So the family is living without their loved one, without their father, without their uncle, without their husband, without their breadwinner, of course. So I'm asking myself, you guys, and now I like it how this white man has put it across, and another person was also talking about it. Another white man was also talking about it. White people, they have a problem. I think they are delusional. And also brown people. The problem with white people is similar to the problem with to brown people. But before I explain further about these clips, I'd like us to watch them to the very end, and then I'll be back with my further analysis. But before that, kindly, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Give me a subscribe. Take me to 1,000 subscribers. All right, and then make sure that you leave a comment. I'd like us to have the conversation going on in the replies. Don't forget to share this message. Don't forget to like this video, and remember to turn on post notifications so that every time I post a new video, you'll be the first person to get notified about it. But right about now, let us jump straight into this video, and then I'll be back with further commentary.
So I follow the leadership of impacted communities as best as I can, and I feel physically ill. One thing I can do is use my platform to try and support my literal neighbors who are now in a horrifying situation. Every part of this is going to cost them financially in ways that are hard to describe. They may never see their husband and father and uncle again. They may have to flee. They're absolutely in for a legal battle which will cost thousands and thousands of dollars in a system that is completely stacked against them. And they still need to make rent and eat in this economy, now without their primary breadwinner, under escalating threat of being kidnapped themselves. So I'm asking you to consider your position relative to theirs right now and chip in what you can to the fundraiser below. Imagine being that mother, waking up tomorrow with your 2 children and your husband gone, maybe forever. It took them days to decide it was worth it, the risk, for me to make this video, and I hope you can make that risk worth it for them. Every penny put toward this will go straight to a family who desperately needs it, 5 miles down the road from me. And if you don't know anyone who's been kidnapped in your community, then you're not close enough. Especially if you look like me, I need you to get involved. Learn Spanish. Get connected to rapid response groups in your area. Take active bystander trainings. Learn legal rights and advocacy. People need help. Sometimes it'll be big and dramatic, but mostly it'll be small and mundane. I spent all day yesterday at the Department of Motor Vehicles with that family, helping get their papers in order. And as a white guy with local privilege and fluent local English, I was able to navigate that system in a way that helped them get documentation. The grumpy old white lady at the DMV thinks I look like her son, while the terrified brown person with disorganized papers who doesn't speak her language looks like a threat. That's one little way I can help support them. They're terrified to go into stores right now, and they should be. ICE is stalking out Walmart, stalking schools, stalking gas stations. So get involved now, please. Build trust. Get to the point where people can turn to you. I know a lot of you would be happy to go to the DMV with folks, but if they don't know you well enough to trust you when their whole world turns upside down and they're terrified, it's completely meaningless. The line of who is considered legal in this country is being moved very quickly, and you and people you love will be on the other side of it soon. If you are an ethical person, they are coming for you. And allowing more at-risk people to be disappeared is watching your allies be kidnapped and thinking it has nothing to do with you. Join local grassroots organizations like PSL or unions or whatever ethical local group you can find. If you're white, join or start local rapid response teams. Stop talking about organizing and start acting with mutual aid locally. And I hope that the least we can do, the very least, is blow this fundraiser up. So please share, please distribute, please chip in a few bucks so that this family who's going through hell can have a little bit of stuff they don't have to worry about right now.
So something I've noticed about a lot of white people that I've been seeing out at protests, in videos and pictures, is that there are quite a few white people walking around with American flags, or they're saying, whose country, our country. And we miss the fucking point so often and center ourselves. I think a lot of times it's so ingrained, we don't even recognize it, right? Because why the fuck are you carrying around an American flag at a protest? And I'm not saying this to shame or guilt anyone, but just to have a real ass conversation, because the American flag has always represented oppression. In this idea that we need to take back and go back to what we were is just a reinforcement of white supremacy. The safe America that we knew or we perceived as white people has always been an oppressive one built on white supremacy. So when you carry around that American flag, you are reinforcing and representing the entire fucking problem. And that is this idea that we can create safety, or go back to this, again, this safe idea of America, which is really just also white supremacy. So don't bring that shit. And when they, the chants say whose country, our country, whatever, it's not our country. We're on Turtle Island. This is indigenous land. This is not our fucking country. And then I see, again, fellow white people following rules at a protest. Y'all are going to go get your permits. You're going to follow the rules. You're going to act right because there's 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 cops out there when there are thousands of people in the streets. The thing is, we have the power as a majority in the United States. We're the global minority as white people, but in the United States, we have majority white people. We have the power to actually change something, to do something radical. But it is not going to happen within the confines of the system. It is not going to happen when we follow the rules of oppression. And to me, it really points out to, like, my mutual Aaron on here says, y'all don't hate white supremacy enough for me. If we truly wanted shit to change, if it made us angry enough, if it really ignited our empathy and our compassion for everyone, we would flip this motherfucker on its head. But we don't. So do you really hate this enough? Does it make you angry enough? Or do you want to go back to being comfortable, where the white supremacy was, to us, more low key, more quiet, not as in your face? No, fuck that. Any type of white supremacy is a fucking problem. That's why we're here in the first place. And if you want to make change, we have to go out of what makes us comfortable. A protest is a great start, but meet people. Figure out how you can organize and do shit outside of a protest. We have to become radicalized in this fight for our own humanity, for the humanity of the collective. You have to get angry, and you have to learn how to process through your feelings and not react out of that rage in a way that will put everyone else in harm's way. Your anger, our anger, has to become productive. We cannot follow the rules within an oppressive system. Try to use, our voices and our actions within the context that an oppressive system gives us, and then expect shit to change. Got to get creative, got to get uncomfortable, got to get fucking mad, and got to do it in a productive way.
Right. So you have seen these people are trying to explain themselves, how they hate white supremacy, how white people are coming out boldly to blame their white folks, saying that, you know what, we ask ourselves, we are not even indigenous people. America belongs to other people. So why are we always on the run, trying to deport people? Yet we the white people globally, they have accepted that globally they are a minority, which is true. White people have never been a majority, by the way. They are globally they are a minority. But when you go to the United States, you'll find out that white people are in large numbers. So why is it that they themselves, they know that in America they are immigrants too? It belongs to the Red Indians, the indigenous people, the indigenous tribes. Then why is it that they have focused their time so much in arresting those people who they feel that they are not original people, that they are not original Americans, or they are not Native Americans? White people think that they are Native Americans, but if you go into history books, you'll find out that there are some books written about their arrival in America. They were called savages, the savages, because White people, they come to a place, they'll destroy everything, destroy civilization, kill people and take over the land. So that is exactly what they did before they took over America. And now they feel too entitled that America is theirs. White people should come out and start, the last guy was talking about white people coming out, not only to protest, but to go out, to get out of their comfort zone and accept that they too in America, they're immigrants and they need to call the white supremacists, the leftists, these people who think that they control everything, because it is for the top 1%. It is not for the poor white people. The poor white people are being used. And I really liked how this person, the last guy, was really putting the message very clear. He was not beating around the bush. He was just saying it the way it is. White people in America, the so-called Americans, they like to glorify the American flag, but the American flag has been always used to represent oppression. You see the American flag in Iraq, you see it in Burma, you see it in Haiti, you see it in Vietnam, you see it in Iran, mentioned in other place. You just know that this flag, these people are here to oppress people. They are here to put our people through hell. So the last the last clip, the guy was really going straight to the point, and he was talking about things that will make white people to hate him or to be mad at him. But allow me to say this: the day that white people, poor white people, will stop getting used by the rich white people, the white supremacists, everything related to racism, anything related to oppression, anything related to segregation, it will end. It will come to an end. White people should know that racism is not benefiting them. Racism is not making them any better. Deporting people is not making them any better. Deporting people will not make them be the elephants in the room, be the important guys, No. It is nothing like that. And it is high time they start to reject the whiteness. It is high time they stand up against racism. They reject it. They condemn it. They talk about it. They should stop oppressing the minorities. But you know what? Latino people, the last question I'll ask, and I'd like to ask Latino people is, did you people, right? Did you people voted right? Why did you vote for Donald Trump? Because you guys thought that you're white, because you speak Spanish, because your skin is kind of white. You thought that you could just get out there and vote for someone. Vote for someone who was not going to serve your interest, but you are going to vote for someone who was against your interest. So I can say you guys voted against your best interest. And Latino people should learn from this. Latino people should know that anytime you're going to vote, don't vote against your best interest, because United States of America is not your homeland, and things can change anytime, because Trump, barely 2 weeks in his office or into office, he started deporting you guys. He started frustrating you guys, unleashing the ICE officers on you. So voting against your best interest will always cost you. Choices have consequences. You guys made a choice. I just pray that Latino man is released and given back to his community and continue with his daily life. But you guys, if you're not going to learn, shit is going to happen to you each and every day. I don't know what's your take on this, but I'd like us to have the conversation going on in the reply. So I'll ask you most definitely to leave a comment. I'll ask you to like this video so that the YouTube algorithm can be favorable to me, and this video will be suggested to as many people as possible. Also, don't forget to share this message with your brothers and sisters, because I like each and every one of us to get enlightened, because this is Awakened Africa. It has been my pleasure to be your presenter for today. My name is Bemu, B-E-M-U. You can follow me on all my social media platforms at IamBemu_001. Let us talk. Let us have a conversation. To those guys who are sending me super thanks, I'm really grateful. Thank you for loving my work, and I really appreciate. Returning subscribers, Thank you so much, because you're the reason as to why I keep on creating this content. To the person who is watching this video and has not subscribed, kindly subscribe and take me to 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to meet you in the next video, sound and in good health. This has been your boy, Bemo. Peace out.